Well, good morning, everybody. Good Monday morning. My name is Diane Lowry, Women at the Well. Another Monday love note for you all. For myself, love waking up on Mondays, knowing that I get to put something like this together just to set the tone right for myself as I go into this next week and look at my calendar and see all of the things that are my responsibility, things that I need to do, and things that I want to do. And one of the things that is super important to me is to prepare for Tuesday night Bible class. And so we're moving right along through the book of Acts. We're moving into Acts chapter 17 this week. We're going to be taking in the first 15 verses. And Paul and Silas, they leave from Philippi. Actually, they were like asked to leave quietly, just get out of town, because they had caused quite a stir in Philippi while they were there. So now they're moving to Thessalonica, and they're most likely still carrying the wounds from the last beating. And somehow they have the courage and the stamina to continue on with the mission that the Lord has set before them. And we're going to find out in this passage and be reminded for ourselves that everywhere these guys went, they turned that world upside down. All through Paul's epistles, we find reasonings and instructions as to why and how we are to be faithful servants to the Christ who saved us. But it's interesting as you journey through Acts, you literally see Paul living out these accounts in his own teachings. He's experiencing these things firsthand. This guy walked the walk and he talked the talk. And sometimes through the narrative, it's easy to be able to extract clear takeaways, how-tos, so to speak, as to what it took for them to do what they did. And this study affords us that opportunity. These guys had 5 things that we're going to take a look at. They had courage, they had the right content, they had converts to show that their message was a reality in people's lives, and the evidence was the changed lives. Conflicts everywhere they went. In order to do what they do, they had conflicts. And concern. They cared about the people that they had introduced to Jesus Christ. So if we as Christians are living life the way that God intends us to be living our lives, we need to have some of the same things in our lives that Paul and Silas had. And if you're not having any conflicts in your life, that kind of makes you want to question your own faith. Why don't you have conflicts? Because if you're serving the Lord, Satan is bound to put something in your way to keep you from doing that. And I'm talking to my buddy Kirsten today because I know she's a woman of faith who's on a mission. And she texted me this morning saying, why is it that every time I start off to serve the Lord intently, I feel like I'm being derailed and called in a different direction? It's a conflict, you know? I don't know if these conflicts, if you can take all of the conflicts all the way down to Satan, but I know for most of us that having a life that is mission minded is kind of secondary to a matter of importance in our life. There's usually something more important than what God has called us to do. Very rarely do I think these two things naturally come together. But anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow night. So as I considered a song to attach to this week's encouragement, I immediately thought about Maverick's City's "Great is Your Faithfulness to Me." Listen to just this one phrase. God of Abraham, you're the God of covenant and of faithful promises. Time and time again, you have proven you'll do just what you said. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I'll remain steadfast and let my heart learn when you speak a word, it will come to pass. It's a long, long worship song, but boy, is it good. Now, I don't know when this happened, but somewhere between pushing the send on this email and the thought of no, not yet, I swung this chair and looked directly out the French doors that overlook the beautiful Mission Valley. Most of you who watch this know that Dave and I live on a canyon rim, and we have this, what I consider to be this just beautiful view of the northern skies of San Diego County. We get some west, we get some east, but there's always a big sky to consider, and it's pretty cloudy today. But I was just kind of out there looking at these clouds, and in no time I was thinking back to my childhood. Just a kid, man. I think I was no more than 8, maybe 9 at the most. I knew that Jesus called me to be a light in this world. I knew that younger than that age, quite frankly. And I didn't really know what that meant. I just knew that he loved me and he wanted me to tell other people about him. You know, that song, This Little Light of Mine, I'm going to let it shine, that kind of a thing. Even a child understands that. And then I thought about a song that my mother used to play. We had a hi-fi stereo and we had a stack of record albums that she would put up against that stereo. And sometimes she'd pull out one of her favorite records and put it on there. And we all, as a family, would listen to it. But there was a group in there called the White Sisters. They were a trio group. And they were singing the song on this album. And I remember this particular song called So Send I You that my brother and I used to mock. We mocked everything. I don't know why. We were just kids. We just kind of, I don't know, I'm rolling my eyes. I don't know what little brothers and sisters do, but we used to just crack up at stuff. And that was one of the things was the name of this song. And we'd imitate the song and pretend we were these guys. Funny at the time. But the irony of it is I still remember that song. I have great satisfaction from it. I love the words. I love the melody. And I found it today and I stuck it in the email that I sent out to you all. And I'm going to make sure I attach this and post it here so you guys can have the link to it too. But here's the thing that I want to say. You will never, never know the faithfulness of God like Maverick City is singing about until you're doing what he calls you to do. Because he usually calls us to do things that require a reaching of us, something that doesn't come naturally to us. And it is in that space of what doesn't come naturally and being obedient to God that you experience his faithfulness. So you're not going to really be able to have that experience to the fullness of what God has designed for your life until you go to a place that's not comfortable for you, knowing that you're being obedient to what God has called you to do. So I hope that gets to happen for you today. I hope you have an encounter that takes you out of your comfort zone, because I think it is in those places, it's in that gap of listening and obeying, even when it's not easy, that you do indeed see that God was faithful to you. So that's my encouragement to myself and to you as you go forward this week. I do hope you come and join us for Bible class tomorrow night, if not in person, certainly online, and pick up these 5 great things that all begin with the letter C. If you get there at 5:30, we'll serve you dinner, and our study starts at 6:30. So get yourself ready. If you're not in town or you can't come, hit the subscribe button on this YouTube video, and we'll send you a link when class begins. All right. Take care, you guys. Thanks for joining me this little hot minute. Hope you have a beautiful day today. See you next week.